there are a lot of computer videos on this channel, people continue to pine for more. Well, here's another one. So what I have right here is an eMachines case. I think this is a T28 or like a T1842 or something. I don't really remember. There's a sticker on the back. I'm too lazy to look at it right now. But we're going to be going ahead and using this to replace one of my servers in the closet there, so I can then use the server to replace another machine in my low-end radio studio. So ignore what's in here right now. This is just some random Asus Q87M motherboard that doesn't work, and some random power supplies. I'm going to pull all this bull crap out of here, and we will actually put in some decent hardware. We made quite a bit of progress here. This is what is now installed. We have an Intel desktop board, the DQ77MK variety. Now I'm not sure if it actually works. I did test it briefly and it does power on, or at least it seemed to. I have a 16GB kit of Kingston Value RAM. I think, if I remember right, there was a problem with one of these modules, but it's been so long, and I don't know what the status is. They were in my parts box, so they may work, but given it's a 16GB kit, there's probably something wrong with at least one of the modules. It is, however, the only DDR3 I've got laying around, so at the very least, as a test, it'll have to do. I'm going to have to find a CMOS battery. But I've got everything hooked up. I'm probably going to have to put it into recovery mode because I'm sure there's a BIOS password on this thing. I haven't ever actually used it. This is a CPU out of my own collection, though. It's a Core i5-2300. Nothing real fancy. It should be better than a Core 2 Duo. Maybe even a little bit more power efficient. Here is the cooler that I have chosen to use. The Cooler Master Hyper T2, which is a smaller version of the Hyper 212 Plus, or Evo, or whatever they're calling it this minute. Not a bad looking little cooler. It is a little smaller, I believe, but that's not a big deal. It'll actually fit in this case, hopefully. And it should support the socket 1155 that the CPU is. Because it certainly claims to support it there. Interestingly enough, this wouldn't support the socket AM4 if you wanted to use it for that. So, some of the specs are covered up by a little tag there. I suppose I could probably remove it if I wanted to. There's not really much else to share. So we'll just go ahead and open it. I've already broken the seal. Take a look at what it comes with. There you go. Difficult to remove. Might do that off camera. Alright, so here's the heatsink itself. Again, really not much to it. Here's the fan, which I've removed because I already know that I'm pretty sure you have to remove this in order to install the cooler. At least the deep cool ones, that's how it works. You get this bag with a couple screws and thermal compound, super absorber, basically replaced it for silica gel. I don't know if it makes any bit better of a drink mix. Warranty information, which just fell on the floor. This is the AMD mounting system, and unfortunately, yes, they still make you use these craptastic plastic push pins. Oh well, I guess. You get the instruction booklets, and that's whatever's left. Let me go ahead and install this cooler. Now it's in place, dumb plastic push pins and all. Probably should have looked at it a little bit more carefully before I installed it, though, because it looks like I've installed it sideways. Oops. Hopefully it will still cool just as well. And I also put the fan on backwards on top of that. Of course, it's easier to fix the fan than it is to fix the fact that the cooler is mounted backwards. So I'll probably put the fan on the other side here in a second, and then I'm going to give this thing a power-up test, see if it works. Alright, it's done up properly. Let's go ahead and make sure that it actually works before I go and do anything further with it. Should get a green light here in a second. And a blue light, that's for the AMT, which I'll probably have to disable. I hit the power switch. It'll probably take a while to post, just because it's an Intel motherboard, and they tend to do that. If it actually works at all. Which it hopefully does. But it's not doing a whole heck of a lot. Let me check the RAM. You know, you got somewhere, but the problems are twofold. Indeed, it looks like we do have a bad memory module. I had to pull that out. Well, I had it in there on its own because I was doing some debugging and it still didn't boot with that. It gave me a memory error, so I changed the module. I'll try putting it back just to see what happens, although if it doesn't boot with it, it's not going to be stable, so I don't know why I'm going to waste my time with that. But also, this power supply is apparently bad because with it installed, the system never posts. With this other power supply here, we get a power on self-test, so look at that. And this thing is very, very interesting. The Intel Visual BIOS. I wonder if Ross ACB's DQ77MK has this as well. But it looks like I'm going to have to go ahead and hook up a mouse in order to use it. So we'll do that. I always love some of the shenanigans Intel manages to get themselves into. Tweet us feedback at Visual BIOS. Seriously? You know, I think I actually am going to send them a tweet. And I tell them that, hey, Intel, not being able to use the keyboard to navigate your BIOS is a complete and utter bullshit. Alright, so go to the administrative or maintenance mode here and we get this pop-up. And it should say clear user and admin passwords. Yes, I want to clear those. Clear the TPM. Yes. I have no idea what that clock does. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And where's the exit and save changes? Save changes. So we'll turn off the jumper and we'll reboot the system and go back into the BIOS. I'm going to put a battery on this thing so it will retain its settings. And we'll do that, all of that and get it all set up properly. And I think I'm going to run memtest on this. I might install the other memory module just to see what the system does. Okay, are we ready for this? Let's see if it actually posts. Well, it tries to. I want it to go into system setup. CPU replacement was detected. Some system features will be disabled. Sure. So it should power itself off, like that. And I forget the key to get into setup. I think it was F2. That's usually the key that it is on Intel systems. Yeah, there we go. So there's our version. We get an i5 2300 CPU at 2.8 gigahertz. I thought it was 2.4. Well, whatever. Anyway, can't tweet them or anything like that. So go to the date and time here. And huh. It looks like it has silently ignored the other memory module. So sure, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to set the date and time properly, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this BIOS, though. Let's go back to the home. Put it into classic mode. No. Yeah, that's a little bit more like it, although it's still got this doofy mouse cursor. Well, it took a little bit of a fight to get it to boot to USB, but here we are. It wasn't quite what I wanted. Let's go to memtest 86. We'll see what we have going on here. Now that bandwidth really sucks. Makes you wonder why the other one isn't being detected. It's kind of weird. So it looks like I'm going to be getting another RAM kit for this. But I think I'm going to let that run overnight just to make sure that the system is stable. Now we're back again, and I've now got the hard drives installed, and the power supply installed as well. So we're going to see if this thing will actually boot Windows. Power itself on and all. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, sure it's taking its jolly sweet time to boot. I wonder if the CMOS battery actually is any good, or if I'm going to be replacing that. Can't be too bad. So here we are now, booting into Windows Server 2016. So we'll see if that comes up and if it shows up on my network properly, which it looks like it does. So I think that's going to work out. I'm going to get everything set up the way that it's supposed to be set up. Alright, so here is the server. Now I'm going to set up that second hard drive. That's my goal here. At least try and set up the second drive. Go to disk management. And we'll see, that's the C drive. So the drive in question is this one, right here. So I don't really care what's on it. See if it'll actually work. Let me do this. Yes, please do. Probably mess something up in the process, but that's alright. Alright. So it didn't seem to work. Or at least it didn't totally break. So, refresh. On that. Although it's GPT, I don't know how I feel about that. But I guess that's fine. No storage pools exist. That's perfectly okay. So, shares. Yeah, I don't think I can just move this over. I don't think that's possible. That sucks. So as it turns out, I had to actually delete the existing share and recreate it. That's very annoying, actually. Whatever, doesn't matter, I guess. Alright, so transfer is going good. I'm not going to make you sit through all of this. This is going to take forever. So now, I've got other projects to worry about. So it is on that note that I conclude the video. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.